Welcome to my little corner of the internet, where we celebrate creativity and growth. We extend a warm welcome to you as we discuss and analyze Florida State Road 739 in this video. State Road 739 SR 739 is a 17 miles commercial highway running from San Carlos Park, Florida to North Fort Myers that is also known as US Route 41 business for the northernmost 6 miles of its route. Let's now zoom in on route description and uncover the hidden gems that lie within. The southern terminus of SR 739 is an intersection with US 41 near San Carlos Park. SR 739 is known as Michael G. Rip Parkway for its first 3 miles. Immediately north of the southern terminus is an interchange with Alico Road CR 840, which includes only a southbound exit and northbound entrance. SR 739 crosses the interchange and the Seminole Gulf Railway on a large overpass. From the Alico interchange, SR 739 becomes 6 lanes and continues north, paralleling the Seminole Gulf Railway and passing through the Bright Cliff neighborhood. At its intersection with 6 Mile Cypress Parkway SR 865 in South Fort Myers, SR 739 becomes known as Metro Parkway and continues northward. It is reduced to 5 lanes with a middle turn lane at the intersection with Daniels Parkway CR 876. SR 739 then passes to the east of the Villas neighborhood, Page Field, and the Chico's World headquarters. It intersects with Colonial Boulevard SR 884, Lee County's primary east-west highway, shortly after entering Fort Myers city limits. At Winkler Avenue, SR 739 becomes 6 lanes again and turns northwest. An overpass carries it over the 10-mile canal and the Seminole Gulf Railway's freight yard. At Leitrim Boulevard, the northbound lanes continue on to Evans Avenue, while the southbound lanes connect to Fowler Street. SR 739 continues north along Evans Avenue and Fowler Street. Currently, Evans Avenue is a one-way street north of Leitrim Boulevard and has 3 northbound lanes, while Fowler Street carries 4 lanes of bidirectional traffic. This unusual configuration continues to just south of downtown Fort Myers at the intersection of State Road 80 to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Fowler Street's northbound lanes terminate at SR 82, and from here north, Evans Avenue, which becomes Park Avenue shortly after SR 82, carries all northbound traffic, and Fowler Street carries all southbound traffic with 3 lanes each. At the intersection with SR 80 just east of downtown Fort Myers, SR 739 becomes concurrent with US Route 41 business, and SR 739 becomes a hidden designation from this point north. It then intersects SR 80 and crosses the Caloosahatchee River on the Edison Bridge. The northbound and southbound streets rejoin into a single 6-lane roadway at the north end of the Edison Bridge spans, and travel into North Fort Myers, Florida along the original Tamiami Trail. SR 739 is then reduced to 4 lanes divided after the intersection of Pine Island Road Bayshore Road SR 78, and terminates shortly after at the main line of US 41 north of North Fort Myers. Now, let's shift our perspective and explore history through a fresh lens, unlocking new perspectives. Fowler Street and Evans Avenue, which carry SR 739 near downtown Fort Myers, were early city streets. Evans Avenue is named for Major James Evans, the founder of Fort Myers. Fowler Street is named for Captain W. H. Fowler, a U.S. soldier who fought in the Seminole Wars. Fowler's grave was discovered in 1885 in a military cemetery that once existed near the intersection of Fowler and 2nd Streets. Francis A. Hendry, one of the first councilmen of Fort Myers, proposed naming the street after Fowler. Today, a historic plaque on Fowler Street near 2nd Street marks the location of the former cemetery. The northern portion of SR 739 through North Fort Myers was originally the route of Tamiami Trail US Route 41, a roadway connecting Tampa and Miami. The route through North Fort Myers north of Pine Island Road was complete in the years along with the rest of Tamiami Trail. The route from there to downtown Fort Myers was completed in 1931 when the original Edison Bridge over the Caloosahatchee River opened, which connected with Fowler Street on the south side of the river. Tamiami Trail's previous bridge was located further upstream connecting Old Bridge Road with Fremont Street. US 41 would carry the hidden designation SR 45 after the 1945 Florida State Road renumbering. In 1964, US 41 was rerouted to its current alignment to the west upon the completion of the Caloosahatchee Bridge. After the realignment of US 41, the original route became US 41 Business with the hidden designation of State Road 739. The Metro Parkway portion of SR 739 was originally developed as 3 roadways that were then planned to be part of an eastern bypass to US 41. The first segment was short local road known as Hardy Street that ran south from Hanson Street. In the early years, Metro Drive was built as a 4-lane road from Colonial Boulevard SR 884 north to connect with the south end of Hardy Street. Winkler Avenue was also extended to connect with Metro Drive at the time. From Colonial south to Daniels Road, the road was initially named Canal Road, which was named since it paralleled the 10-mile canal. Canal Road was a 2-lane road largely built due to a boom in need for new business sites, and landowners along the route financed its construction. In 1982, the road was complete from Hanson Street south to Daniels Road, which would be fully known as Metro Parkway within a few years. By the time Metro Parkway was complete, the SR 739 designation ran south along Fowler Street, then east along Hanson Street, and south along Metro Parkway. Metro Parkway was extended south to 6-mile Cypress Parkway by the end of 1987. This extension would support the construction of Gulf Coast Hospital, known today as Gulf Coast Medical Center, which opened in 1990. Metro Parkway was then widened to 4 lanes from Colonial Boulevard to Daniels Parkway in 1991. SR 739 was split into its current alignment of one-way street pairs north of SR 82 in the early years when the current dual Edison Bridge spans were completed, replacing the original drawbridge. SR 739 also became a 6-lane roadway between SR 82 and SR 78 at the same time. More of Evans Avenue was converted to one-way as far south as Hanson Street in the late years to carry SR 739 northbound. This was part of a larger project that would have later converted the adjacent segment of Fowler Street to one-way to be Evans Avenue's southbound counterpart. However, further conversion of Fowler Street was heavily opposed by the city of Fort Myers and local business owners, and was subsequently cancelled though Evans Avenue's conversion had already been completed. The North Fort Myers segment of SR 739 from SR 78 to Littleton Road was widened to 4 lanes in the late years. The rest of the road north of there to US 41 was widened to 4 lanes in 2015. Metro Parkway was widened to 6 lanes from Daniels Parkway to 6-mile Cypress Parkway in 2010. The owners of Gulf Coast Hospital loaned the state money for the widening, which allowed the project to start a few years earlier than planned. SR 739 was extended to its current southern terminus in late 2012 with the completion of Michael G. Ripp Parkway. That extension, which was named for former Florida Department of Transportation District Director Michael G. Ripp, had been planned as early as the years and was funded by the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009. The current alignment of SR 739 between Winkler Avenue and Hanson Street, which included the overpass over the Seminole Gulf Railway Yard, was completed in late 2015. This removed SR 739 from Hanson Street, and the original alignment of Metro Parkway was renamed Old Metro Parkway. With the groundwork laid, let's now examine Fowler Street and its connections to our previous discussions. From the north end of Metro Parkway, SR 739 southbound runs along Fowler Street in Fort Myers. South of Metro Parkway, Fowler Street continues under county control with the unsigned designation of County Road 863 CR 863 to Colonial Boulevard and connects to US 41 at Boy Scout Drive near Page Field. CR 863 was built in the early years when Fowler Street was extended south of Hanson Street to just north of Page Field at North Airport Road, which connected it to US 41. Fowler Street was widened to 4 lanes in 1974. A year later, Page Field opened a new passenger terminal at the end of Fowler Street. This terminal ceased operation in 1983 when commercial air service was relocated to the new Southwest Florida Regional Airport. The terminal still stands and is now primarily occupied by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. In the mid-years, Fowler Street was realigned around Page Field's runway 13 and extended to connect directly to US 41 at Boy Scout Drive, which continues a short distance to Summerlin Road CR 869. Despite the realignment of Metro Parkway to connect with Fowler Street in 2015, Lee County still maintains Fowler Street between Metro Parkway and Hanson Street, though this section carries the SR 739 designation. Major intersections. Let's now zoom in on Hanson Street and Old Metro Parkway and uncover the hidden gems that lie within. Prior to 2015, Hanson Street carried the SR 739 designation from Fowler Street east to the previous alignment of Metro Parkway, now known as Old Metro Parkway. Despite the reroute, this segment of Hanson Street remains under state maintenance, though Old Metro Parkway was relinquished to city control after the realignment. Hanson Street continues west of Fowler Street as a city street to US 41 and Cortez Boulevard. It also continues east of Old Metro Parkway under city control to Ortiz Avenue CR 865. Hanson Street was extended from Veronica South, Shoemaker Boulevard to Ortiz Avenue in December 2020. Hanson Street was an early city street and is named for Dr. William Hanson. Hanson came to Fort Myers in 1884 and befriended and treated the Seminole Indian tribe. Hanson's son, W. Stanley Hanson, served as tax collector and commissioner in Lee County. Stay connected and join our community by subscribing and following me on other platforms.